all straight up.
Yeah, and no surprise, this just really stops a lot of the early game momentum teams want to find. Seeing as how we are seeing a lot of importance into quick scaling marksmen and assassins in the current meta, and because of the adjustments, something that Wolf and I already discussed, with the fact that Magic defense can now go into the negative, as high as -60, because of the second skill of Eudora, flat, straight up reduces 20 of that magic. So early on in the game, if you don't pick up a magic defense item, you're gonna be at the negative already. Meaning even just a level 2, you're already gonna have a good power spike with this Eudora. So it's good that they banned that out. They also banned out the Moskov, which is a favorite here of 30 Gaming, something they've flexed into the side lane, the gold lane, and also the jungle. So it's a mix of, yeah, let's take away one broken hero and the broken hero that feels or an okay hero that feels broken at the hands of 30 Gaming.
And there we go. The X-Borg with the Retribution, the Jungle X-Borg is finally going to make its debut, at least for the quarterfinals that we have right now. Mathilda's going to be banned out, so Jawhead is going to be the first pick here for Honda Beast, which is a good pick for Honda, knowing that he is one of the best roaming tanks we've had in the longest time in the MPL back then.
Yeah, and of course with this Jawhead can just really disrupt rotations. He hasn't locked it in yet. There we go. He finally does lock it in. So with the Jawhead and the Lunox, you have a lineup you have to watch out for the entire game. Lunox might take some time for her to build up, but then we know once she reaches her power spike mid-game, it will be a difficult hero to go up against, especially if Oh My Yuri here decides to build, like, let's say maybe an early Divine Glaive. We rarely see a Genius Wand in the hands of a Lunox, but that is an option again because of the changes to Magic defense. Meanwhile, the side of Phantasma KALIDAD did go for the Hayabusa and the Eve. So this is the tandem of an Ekborg and an Eve is just really good for taking those early game objectives. But if BINASIC decide to pick this Chango, not just Chango, the Kaja, it is a perfect response to the Eve on the side of Phantasma.
Yeah, Chango picking up the Kaja will have to be crucial. I mean, there are already 2 proper lockdowns here for the Eve at the very least. What they only have to worry about here is their side lanes. If it can carry the momentum against the Hayabusa, depending on what the side lane of choice is also for Phantasma KALIDAD, they have to play it safe. Potentially, if they don't want to go up against a Pakito, they don't want to go up against a Glue. So they might just want to get the Pakito for themselves, and Phantasma KALIDAD wants to ban this out for them. They have to ban it out.
Yeah, the Pakito's open if they're not so confident with their ability to push the side lanes, or contest the objectives, and they'd rather have someone who can stay in the side lanes to continue pushing. They can decide to pick up the Cho, put that in the gold lane or the XP lane. That's the beauty of picking the Lunox and the Kaja together, because you don't know where these two are going. This Kaja can go down the mid, the Lunox goes down to the side, and flip the script. Still a good lineup if you decide to go for it. So yeah, I'm watching out for the XP laner here for BINASIC. Again, I'd want to go back to the Cho if they decide to pick that up. They need a little bit more physical damage. They might even surprise and go for something along the likes of a Lapu Lapu.
Lapu Lapu sounds really good here now for BINASIC, now that you mentioned it. So it's either a Lapu Lapu or Pakito that they want to go for. It's either that or they get the Cho for themselves to get a little bit more lockdown. But it's a Ruby instead.
Yeah, something completely different. And what you get out of that is actually, if you look at BINASIC, they have so much crowd control and something that can disrupt Phantasma KALIDAD. So this will want to contest the objectives since they picked up the Ruby. They're not going to do much on the split pushing, and I like these 2 picks. If Phantasma KALIDAD do decide, and they do, go for the Barrett, pair that up with the Rafaela, then you will have your Barretts in the side lane. But I think the side lane here is what's gonna be quite left alone. But okay, they're hovering over the Popple and Koopa, and they do decide to take it. It's a good mix of control. Okay, it's gonna be quite of a scrambled team fight, but then that's kind of what Phantasma KALIDAD wants, because now BINASIC so much to avoid on the ground if they don't want to get run over here.
And now we have a choice of a carry here. Lings were already out of the window here because of the Barat, so we're gonna have to focus on the Lancelot here. Or a Granger if they want to keep it safe, keep that distance away from the Eve and the export just in case if ever they want to go and engage. But it is going to be the Lancelot here for PEIN.
And then this Lancelot can avoid a lot of the things that FANTASMA KALIDAD throw. Big fan of how the draft went. It's a mix of picks and lineups that are still quite unique to us considering how we're in the Pro League off season. But now we're seeing a teaser of the creativeness that can come up in the Pro League, because this is what I love about the non-Pro League scene, or the scene where it's dominated mostly by our creators and of course the up-and-coming pro amateur teams. You see a lot of creativity, you see a lot of experimentation that can actually inspire some fresh new lineups once the pro scene regular season starts. But now, as we head into the match between FANTASMA KALIDAD and BINASIC, at this point, all the analysis that we said in the draft is all about applying it in the game. And again, going back in terms of for BINASIC, I feel like whoever's going to be rocking this Lancelot has a massive job for BINASIC up that he has to fulfill. You really have to time the Thorn Rose, the Phantom Execution, when you're going to be going out of the map to avoid abilities. Because once you can do that, this Lancelot has a good chance of being able to completely disrupt the backline of FANTASMA.
And that is what we have to look forward to here. 30 Gaming is going to be fielding that Lancelot, and we'll be able to just farm up the purple without any problems. Xborg's already just on the orange, not able to finish it up just yet. But there is a big presence here on the bottom lane by Geo, and the Gaming just try to pressure Omayuri away from pushing out the lane. Small fight here for the Little Wonder. They're going to try to save it for themselves, but it's going to be secured by BINASIC.
Yeah, and what the rotation that Jaemon did, that's because of the adjustment to the level requirements to hitting level 2. So roamers, tanks, especially if you have the roaming item, can easily reach level 2 now compared to before. The values to reach level 3 from level 2 is a little bit higher now, but it's still slightly the same XP. So that's why Jaemon started there. Oh, Honda Beast though from out of nowhere!
Just started to win that duel against the Jawhead, but you did not expect that Honda Beast coming from your back lines itself. Now, with that being said, that is going to be an easy kill for BINASIC, and Geomon has nobody to support here. There goes the perfect execution. Thorn Rose, Geomon still pretty much alive and still manages to survive by the skin of his teeth.
And the good thing about the rotation of BINASIC is that this opens up a better presence and positioning for Honda Beast in the Turtle Pit. So BINASIC, or rather FANTASMA KALIDAD, might have an easier time being able to take this away. But looking at the presence of BINASIC, yeah, they acknowledge that. That's why they have a much better presence here around the turtle. But Jaemon still needs to reposition himself.
Guys, ejection, they're taking Jaemon as well. As with the Divine Judgment locks down that kill. And now this turtle is going to be defaulted towards the side of BINASIC unless D Gaming has other plans in store. We are seeing Sarah repositioning herself towards the turtle, but there is no way that they can contest this.
D Gaming can try his absolute best, but at that point, just give the turtle to BINASIC and see a very little thing happen. Honda Beast was able to pick off Jaemon up top, and that just gave a lot of confidence to BINASIC to being able, because they know Jaemon couldn't position himself well enough in time.
Here goes the top of the force to the ejection. Honda Beast once again ganking from behind enemy lines even. He trades his life for that turret, but that's still a kill going to the hands of Changgu. Much needed.
Yeah, that's a sacrifice you're willing to take if you're Honda Beast. You're going to delay the farm of the Hayabusa a little bit more and give more breathing room for Changgu to quickly get his items. As a Lunox, you want to be able to hit that mid-level spike as quickly as possible. Get your Clock of Destiny, which he is just, I believe, 500 gold, or roughly 500 gold away from being able to beat it.
There is a big presence here in the top lane. The ejection and the Divine Judgment onto Jaemon. He will fall down. Sarah next in line for them. The Ring of Order is going to dish out a fair amount of damage. Perfect execution into the Thorn Rose just to make sure he's alive under that turret. 0 for 2 trade in the top lane.
The target juggling and focusing of BINASIC is just absolute class right now. And this is the problem that you have with a lineup that has a you're not typical tank choice in the Poppling Koopa because he didn't have a good early game. He's just easily getting picked off here against a Jordan Kaja, really difficult to recover from. And Wrecker himself as well will have a during from this. That's 3 deaths already 4 minutes in.
That's already not looking good for Wrecker. He is one of the late game insurances here for Fantasma Kalidad. Like, as soon as he hits his item spikes and his level spikes as well, he'll be a big factor in the next coming team fights. But with him being delayed so bad, there's nowhere to go. Speaking of nowhere to go, that's Sarah with that Divine Judgment connection by PEIN.
Man, the combination of PEIN and Honda Beast right now, how they're targeting the members of Fantasma Kalidad, change their crowd control together, it's almost always a sure pick-off. And at this point, BINASIC have just snowballed as quickly as they hoped that they would because they have the Lancelot with them. And considering that this Kaja you're up against, we rarely see the Kaja, but the Kaja damage is quite good as well. If you allow PEIN to farm up, that's what we're about to see. In the next 3 minutes, the Kaja damage is going to start to become a big problem for Fantasma Kalidad.
And PEIN's gonna be having a good time. He had 0, 0, and 4. He's getting the assists. But as I say that, Tengzi again can be going into the fight later on. As soon as he maxes out the stacks in the jungle camps and then go in for a fight, he may just be a nuisance here.
But then again as well for Tengzi Gaming, yeah, he's already able to build up his War Axe, but it's still gonna take quite some time for Fantasma to get back into this. They can though, but one Tengzi has to watch out for here is when he uses his last insanity, where is PEIN? Because once that last insanity is gone, he's gonna be incredibly vulnerable to getting Divine Judgment in the way.
And that's already the Feraga armor being bursted out just by 30 Gaming. It's not going to be likely that we're going to be seeing big skirmishes here, and Tengzi has to play it safe until he gets a Feraga armor, gets the ejection onto Sarah. Fire missiles will be thrown out, and will be zoned out by Sarah as well. Perfect execution to run away, 30 Gaming. That is a complete disengage.
Level 9 right now, it's Lancelot compared to the level 8 X board. Not that far in terms of the goal, so he can still come back into this. But then how is the rest of Fantasma Kalidad doing? Well, not so good. But right now, he can continue to hold up and he can start becoming the big tanky presence for BINASIC, for Fantasma Kalidad. Maybe around, once the goal to Fantasma reaches around 18,000. Oh, but before that, no! Sarah picked off!
Yeah, it was the ejection and the Divine Judgment combo from Honda and Painflix that secured that kill onto Sarah and zoned out Tengzi as well. That is the beauty. As I say that, that's also a kill in the top lane onto Wrecker as well as the turret conversion. BINASIC is slowly securing their game here.
Yeah, and BINASIC still playing in the high level that they showed off in the first day of the Creator Games. And everything is just going their way right now. Their rotations, how they're moving together as a squad, especially the 3 of 30 Honda Beast and Painflix, really set the tempo well for BINASIC early on, and they just, it seems difficult right now at this point to just stop this momentum. Again, not impossible, but they're just so sharp right now in their movements, in their targeting, who they're picking off. That Fantasma Kalidad, you see that they're trying to play carefully, Nomad. They're trying to farm under tower, but with this rotation down bot, it could be another pick-off.
Divine Judgment is available. Who's the target here for Painflix? Oh. It was Sarah, but it doesn't matter. They're still going to get taken out. Changu joins in on the fray. Painflix falls down. D-Gaming still relatively healthy after that engagement. But here comes in the backline, though. 30 Gaming with a Thorn Rose, but still manages to just back off.
Too much damage, man. That was one Thorn Rose. That's Sarah, it just took her down. I think it was like 70 to 75% of her health immediately gone. No surprise, that was a level 11 Lancelot at that point against a level 8 Eve. And little by little, I'm starting to see this comeback for Fantasma Kalidad getting closer to impossible as 30 is now godlike.
Godlike and sitting at 7-0 and 2. No deaths on this Lancelot. We're seeing the We're seeing the different class that these guys have. But there is still a comeback window. You mentioned that earlier on, but what is that comeback window for FANTASMA KALIDAD?
It will have to be a counterplay. A big counterplay engagement by FANTASMA KALIDAD they do have. But it's just so hard to do right now. They're trying.
Oh no, Tengzi dives in with the Divine Judgment. Not the Divine Judgment, with the last Insanity, but he will pay the price for that. His mortality is going to be popped. He's still going to be taken care of. D will gobble up a member of BINASIC, but it's still not surmounting too much. Record's going to try to go for a kill. Not the wisest choice here for FANTASMA KALIDAD. That they traded 3 members for nothing there in that fight.
And again, I was mentioning earlier about the counter engage because they have the X board, because they have the E. That's their potential. Wherein BINASIC would take a fight, they would miss their abilities, and then FANTASMA KALIDAD have a shot of taking down 1, maybe even 2 if they get lucky before they have to retreat, before they can give away any other kill. But with this massive gold that can throw off, it's not going to be enough because BINASIC point, their Ruby, they're built enough sustain items, or getting close to building enough sustain items to really just manage of FANTASMA KALIDAD can bring up in that counterplay. So yeah, again at this point, allowing the side lanes to get pushed deeply as the Wrecker might get picked up off here.
That's not a might. He is going to get picked off. That is the shadow kill being used up just to try to delay the impossible. But they do trade down PEIN for that. It's a side lane for a roaming setter that FANTASMA KALIDAD wants to have him. There's still the threat of on the beast with the ejection though. He has a flicker available just now. We might see a flicker ejection play from him.
I think we might just see now and hunting for the target.
He is. Does also have the Unstoppable Force available. Real world manipulation is going to be thrown down. Damage output is still not quite there from FANTASMA KALIDAD, but they still managed to take down Oh My Yuri and the Lord as well, not really chipping out the inhibitor turret in the top lane.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about here, the counterplay possibility of FANTASMA KALIDAD. That was more of an error on the side of Oh My Yuri. I think a bit of a miscommunication with BINASIC because she was able to pull off actually a fantastic set, getting the pulse in, but at that point the members of BINASIC were already on their way back. So a bit of a miscommunication coming in from BINASIC. They have to minimize that if they want to continue this lead, because if FANTASMA KALIDAD get 2 or 3 more pickoffs like that without losing a member, little by little, BINASIC is going to start feeling it's going to be hard to come back.
And this is the things that you have to prevent. Tengzi face checking that brush, gets Divine Judgment and ejected. He's going to go ahead and gobble up 30 Gaming, and it's zoning him out very effectively. He's already low HP. He's not going to be rejoining the fray just yet. And the members of FANTASMA KALIDAD are grouping up together. Tengzi's just going to be going in and refreshing. The Wrecker went for the shadow kill and the quad shadow out. Just dishing out damage, and he made it out.
Really close call. Therefore, both teams BINASIC could have turned around and decided to fight FANTASMA KALIDAD. But then again, they're showing respect for the capability of FANTASMA to potentially still come back into this. Again, yes, it's close to impossible, but that's still close. It's not completely impossible. Plus, it's Mobile Legends, man. There's always a way for you to make a comeback. And especially as the game drags on, comebacks can prove to be incredibly...
Yeah, we know about the long respawn timers. As soon as we hit the 20-minute mark, that's something that I think FANTASMA KALIDAD is trying to wait for. As the Shadow Match will be up in the Divine Judgment Injector, well, they'll take down Sarah, and that's already a brunt of the slows and the damages that FANTASMA KALIDAD wants, and that's already the brunt of the members of FANTASMA KALIDAD out of the fray. Tengzi and JO1, the only ones left alive here, trying to defend against a 5-man presence of BINASIC in front of their base. Flicker into the ejection. That's it. This has to be the game. The Divine Judgment will be used up as well, and Mortality is going to be popped, and there's no way that Tengzi's going to be able to survive this. This has to be the game. But no minions are pushing in as much. But they can end this from just this cannon minion.
They can. Sarah, though, is going to get interrupted. Look at how the beast not even using the ejector at that point. That was just the damage from the missiles. Yeah, but BINASIC can just wreak havoc here.
That's also the ejection. Once again, they're trying to defend, trying to delay the inevitable, and this is game number 1 for BINASIC in this best of 3 series.
Yeah, Phantasma KALIDAD still trying to fight and hold on though, but yeah, at this point, as BINASIC already have a 14k gold lead prior to 15 minutes, that's game number 1 going to BINASIC in one of the sharpest games that we've seen from a team